Welcome to the Mindset Makeover. During this unique show, hosts Lisa Berry and Michelle Carter accompany you on a journey of mindful thinking, true feeling, and clearing mind chatter, all to align you with deep answers and multiple possibilities that help you move forward and live in the now. You become present, clear, and unstuck, and able to live fully led by your heart. Michelle and Lisa invite you to listen and feel this transformation through vibration of word, sound, and song. Open up to what's possible and experience a shift.
Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. This is the Mindset Makeover, What's Possible. I'm Lisa Berry.
And I'm Michelle Carter.
Hello, and Happy New Year to you, Michelle Carter.
Hey, Happy New Year, everybody.
We usually don't start off with a story, but I have to start off with a story because of our topic today, which we'll share with everybody, is about sight, hindsight. Is it 20/20 vision? Is it perfect? Are we happy about it? Or is it blinding? Does it prevent you from stuff? But are you ready for this, Michelle? This is crazy. It's a good crazy, though. Michelle and I think it was your mom, right? The famous Lily Carter. I think she put you on to a fella named Nicholas who does these tarot cards, and I listened to my reading.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I kind of freaked out.
Oh, he's so good.
Yeah. Are you ready? Are you ready for what he first said? Honestly, I kind of freaked out. Knowing that today's show is all about sight, visions, looking forward. My challenge obstacle card. Are you ready? Kind of freaked out. Of course, you know what's going to be it. It was illusions, lack of clarity, vision, and fog. I couldn't believe. I was like, come on, not even is that possible? So I love it that as we know we're on track. See, it's there. There's proof. There's the evidence that we talked about last show. but is that crazy? That it was even the same thing. I kind of freaked out.
That's pretty awesome.
I wanted to text you that, but I wanted to surprise you on the show with it as well.
Wow, that's really, really cool, though. He's amazing. His stuff is amazing.
I know it's really kind of cool, and in fact, I enjoy listening to because when you kind of think about sight, like hindsight, and that whole term, hindsight is 20/20. Sometimes hindsight, sometimes when we're offered, if you could look into the crystal ball, would you want to know your future? And most of the times you go, oh, yeah, but sometimes you think no, because there's the element of surprise. And so that's why I wanted to start with doing the hindsight, because we just completed 2016. So we're here in 2017, and I was going to ask you, Michelle, and I can't wait to talk about this for the show, is that if we were to look back, what is that? Of the year 2016 for you in your world and me in my world and us in our world, for our hindsight, what part of it was 2020? What part now, looking back, going, you know what? I get that now. I'm so glad that I can look back and see that, because now I have my fog has cleared. I have the clarity, and I can move forward during these things. And I think this is what the whole show, no matter what we talk about, will kind of be about.
Well, I would definitely say, because I was reflecting on this, I definitely would say in the future, because about certain aspects, I wish I didn't stress out so much about them, because the stress didn't alter the result at all. So even if I was to redo the year again, I don't think, because I still, in this one area, still haven't achieved the result that I wanted, but I wish I could have taken away the stress. And who knows if had it happen, but it's easy to look back again, because hindsight's 20/20. I feel like sometimes we just put so much pressure in one area or multiple areas. And in one way, actually, I was talking to my young friend today, who's only my friend's sister, and she's 22, and she's amazing. She's an incredible young woman. And also, I was talking to my husband's cousin, and she's 19, incredible young woman. And we were talking about, I'm like, if I could, I really don't want to redo anything again. But if I was to, I would have stressed out way, way less. And that's basically what I was saying to both of them. I was like, that's the one thing I would change. There's all sorts of things to be like, oh, it's easy to be like, I wouldn't have signed that contract, or I wouldn't have done that. But that's really not the biggest advice. Would be much more to stay present and not to be so freaked out. Because, again, like we've mentioned in many, many, many shows, there are some times that the freak out's a little justified, but that's rarely when we freak out. We usually step up when it's a big, major life crisis. It's the freak outs are usually about a lot of the little things, because I notice a lot of people in my life, including people that have went through really tough things, that's where they show up. They're like, you know, they can handle big
freak
shit.
Out.
Sorry,
I think the freak outs actually happen when. Oh, did you just say that word? Okay, that's okay.
I did.
Hindsight 2020.
Well, sorry, really talk.
I think that what you're saying too is like when we do freak out and we stress out and we worry, really that's where we're letting the to say this what's that word? Not disillusioned. We are disillusioned. Sorry, we are let down. We are, and then we start making up stories of what could happen because. And I think that's what you're saying. It's like going, hey, wait a second. Hindsight, looking back, the outcome, because that's what you started saying. It didn't alter the outcome that way. So be kind to yourself, which is I think the message of 2016 from Michelle. She loves be kind to yourself and offer that forgiveness and to say, you know what, let's use this at freak out, or let's say that we have the advantage of looking back, like that hindsight being 2020, and create this kind of vision looking forward. I kind of was thinking there's three ways that we look back. There's the I wish I knew so that I could do this better in the future. I wish it could be a different way, which means you're stuck. And I wish I never did it, which is regret. So we've got this kind of sort of future forward. I wish I knew so I could just, you know what I mean? And I was trying to think of all those three ways that I would really take those things and look. And then what we can do is actually start taking that sight and that vision and start imagining, like creating, as opposed to like a delusion or a hallucination of things, but taking them as a imagination and a brainstorm and reflecting as opposed to, I like, there's so much to do with how we think and how that third eye works and how our, actually, do you ever focus, I don't know what you practice and how you do when you're practicing your meditations and chanting or whatever it is you do, your spiritual practice. Do you ever focus specifically on your third eye chakra?
No, I don't. But I actually play the pineal bowl a lot, which sadly I don't have with me today, but I do play my pineal bowl a lot. And that is the third eye. And I also love it because it's purple and amazing. But unfortunately, I don't have any of my bowls with me at the moment. But so that thing, I mean, I think for me personally, because, you know, again, we all do meditation and we all do everything so differently. I do a lot through music and sound. And so but I guess at that time I'm thinking about it because the pineal, I'm very aware of I'm very aware that it's the third eye. So I guess I do indirectly that way. I'm far more experiential. So I feel like that's how it's the same with any lesson. I mean, even my mom said this as a kid. I always had to learn, you know, I had to experience it. You know, I could be told 20 times.
I think we all
the stove is hot, but I need to, well, not everybody. Some people read a manual.
Really?
And they, oh my God.
I'm not like that either.
Many people are, okay, well, you're not, but I think many people are, there's people that read. We're all so different. And I'm saying some people are the rule followers.
I never thought of that.
Well, we are different.
I've actually never thought of that. That's so neat to think about that right now, going that, oh my God, I'm kind of envious right now. If somebody could read something and do it, I was like, darn it, I wish I had that. It's kind of neat. Well, no, and I think you're right, experiential. And I was going to mention, you have a lot of purple around you, which if that's the color, because the third eye really does that perception beyond ordinary sight. So maybe, you have all that purple around you, and that really is opening some stuff and helping with an inner vision type thing.
Possibly, yeah.
Oh, I had a screech in my ear from this one. I learned something really cool about when we chant the word Om, which actually is said to help the third eye, specifically that sound. I mean, that sounds a very nurturing sound and a helpful grounding sound or thing. I actually never heard this before, and I thought this was kind of neat when I came across it. When we say or chant or think of the word Om, the sound that the M makes should be 3 times as long as the O. And I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah, because you do hang out. You're not on the O, you're on the M. That's cool.
Yeah, I know. Because when I was looking at the Om Mani Padme Hum, it's funny because Om Mani, the M, you get to actually just by saying those words, get to say the M twice because, money, right? And I thought that was really, so I've actually started, I just learned that about a night or two ago, and I thought, I'm going to start doing that. Of course, the cats really enjoy the letter M, I think. They really, as opposed to the O, they're like, meow. Hey, there's Om and meow, by the way. Wait, is there? M-E-O? Yes, there is.
There's an M in meow.
There's, M-E-O. Oh, darn it. Oh, it's close. Okay. I was just hoping, wishful thinking. Well, I've thought of a couple things, lines that we often say about sight, believing, all that kind of stuff. And one of them, I know we reverse it a lot. I think the common thing everybody hears is seeing is believing. And I know in our world, in the conscious community kind of thing, we always say, well, believing is seeing. And I thought that's like a third eye thing too. It's very much when we believe it, when we truly take it on and know it, and that being as well as hindsight 2020. When we believe something, we actually start to see it. It starts to show up and manifest it because we're believing it. But then I had this other kind of cool thing. A bunch of years ago, I was listening to Wayne Dyer audio. I love audios. And I remember him saying that he was just about to go on stage to do his thing. And there was some news that was catastrophic in the world. And he said, I do not wish to hear about this before I go on the stage because no matter, as you said, before it doesn't alter the outcome, he needs to still go out and do what he needs to do. And knowing will alter his vibration and his thoughts and his everything. And that's where the line I keep thinking of, ignorance can be bliss as well. Because when we don't know about something, it could have happened somewhere. If we don't know it, it doesn't harm us, in our thoughts and our beliefs and stuff, because once we believe something, we start to see it. And I thought those two kind of went together. So kind of neat. I think there's times that I'm with you right now. There's our little commercial. We shall return.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
No, I don't have time for coaching. When I get into the car, I just want to hear music and drown out my problems. I don't want to talk about it. What? I've never heard of coaching music before. What do you mean coachable moments set to music? Really? In less than 8 minutes, I can listen to a single track and shift my entire mindset and mood? I guess when music is set to the universal frequency of 432 Hertz, anything is possible. If you're stuck, stagnant, or need a shift, get your album 8 now at 432shift.com.
Welcome back to The Cat Show. Up next, we have Nico. Nico is a member of the Shelter Pet Group.
That's right. A group known especially for their sunspot sleeping, ball chasing, leg rubbing, and of course, companionship. Just look how she struts.
It's like she owns the place.
And see how she curls up and cuddles her person.
The pitch on her purring is simply perfect.
Nice one.
Fantastic cat. But really the best way to know an amazing shelter pet like Nico is to meet one.
Visit theshelterpetproject.org today. Adopt.
Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
We're back. Oh, I'm so glad that the cat commercial is still there. Nico. Oh, I've heard of so many wonderful cat stories actually over the holidays that were rescued and helped and supported. It's a real feel-good kind of feeling. I think that, here's another sight one. The cat's eye. Isn't there even a stone that's called that?
Is there a what?
there's a stone that they call the cat's eye. Like a gem, like a stone, like a
tiger's eye. It's tiger's eye.
Tiger's eye. Oh, that's why I need you here. Okay, right. Actually, do you know what I don't know what the tiger's eye stone strengthens or represents. That'd be interesting if it also did the third. I don't know. Like orange, relationship centers.
Well, it's more brown than orange. Hold on.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I know now. Well, if you are looking it up, I hope you are, because I had something fun that I did that we've never, ever done on the show, but I was really, really motivated and inspired to do this.
It's for...
I
found out what it's for, if you do want to know.
Okay.
Tiger's eye is a stone for protection and also very stabilizing and grounding. It enhances integrity, willpower, self-confidence, and practicality, and correct use of power. So that's very good. I mean, I would say stabilizing and grounding is pretty important.
Yes.
Integrity, obviously, willpower, self-confidence, practicality, and correct use of power. I mean, that's a pretty strong stone. That's a strong statement, especially, I mean, I feel in a lot of, really, if we're on the planet, we all need grounding. My mom's been telling me that since I'm a little kid. She's constantly giving me grounding techniques. But because it really does, I mean, it's important. That's exciting. Tiger's eye. Okay, sorry, go on.
I'm thinking of, kind of thinking of it being like the supporting beam of a house.
That would be amazing to have a tiger's eye support beam. I'd like to live in that house.
Oh,
a house made out of crystals.
Gorgeous?
That would be amazing. Yeah, it would.
Okay, now we have
with an amethyst bathtub.
Yes. Oh my goodness, the house made
out of
amethyst bathtubs.
They have amethyst bathtubs. It's been.
Look, I can't wait to visit your next house. This is going to be beautiful. And this will tie into what I was going to say is that, in fact, so when I was listening to the reading by Nicholas, I listened to, of course, mine first, and then I listened to the people very closest to me that would, have an involvement in my life, and then I listened to mine at the end again. And then I was inspired and motivated. I thought, our show this is like a baby of ours. Like, this is a thing. We love this. We're sending out. We have all of our listeners we're very, very much appreciative of, and we want to help. And so I pulled cards today for the show for our listeners. So I would love to I shared one specifically for what can the listeners expect from us. Isn't this kind of fun? And so, Michelle, the one I pulled, this is kind of neat, the one I pulled for what can the listeners expect from us, and I got the compassion card. And I really love that because you and I, I would say, and let me know if you agree or disagree. Well, it's like your whole line, be kind to yourself. I think that the one thing that we wanted to do for everybody was to offer a place where when people listen, they can hear and recognize any one of their problems in their lives and recognize it in what we're saying as well, that we have them too, and that we're offering compassion and just reminding them that everybody goes through challenges and that there's hopefully a place where you can come to that just kind of soften them a little. Oh, it actually says right here, soften your heart with respect to the situation and all the people involved, including yourself. And I think the show has been also something that we wanted to do to help ourselves whilst helping others. That was a really cool card.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think it's beautiful.
Oh, and then I did want to pull one more thing. What was the question I asked there? I said, oh, goodness. Oh, you know what? I wrote the questions down of which I asked, which is that one, and then I was like, I got excited because I wanted to pull another card, and it was a counselor card, but I think that's why, like, how can we help? Oh, I know what it was. I asked, like, how can we help our listeners? What is the best thing that we can offer to them? And they pulled the counselor card, and I do believe that really we want to invite the listeners right now. If you are listening and you have come and you're saying, I wish somebody understood what I'm going through, or I wish there was a way or something, that we do invite you to reach out to us through all of our places. Michelle, I'm going to need help on all of our places. Hold on. We are. You can do email directly.
We're 432
right,
Shift. We have email. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's radio@432shift, or we're at 432shift.com. Facebook, 432shift. Instagram, 432shift. And Twitter, 432shift. So it's pretty easy if you know those.
I love
remember,
all
432 shift.
Yes.
Get that stuck in your head.
432 shift.
432 shift.
Yeah.
Come visit. And if you go to our website, if you forget everything, just go 432 Tips, our website, and it directs you to all those places if you want to go traveling around the internet.
Traveling, I love that. And, because that's really what it is. So if we really, our main goal is like, what are we offering our listeners? I think this is something that when you and I can look back at 2016 and say, you know what, doing all the shows that we did, we thought, really, we just want to offer that place of compassion. And we would love, if you are seeking counsel, to seek it with us if you're connected with us. And then I did pull a card, which I thought was kind of neat for the show itself, to say, what is that represented for you and I, Michelle? Like, what is it that we really want to see moving forward? And you're going to laugh because I swear I pulled the same card every single time. And it's the base chakra. And so it's kind of like my little crystal ball looking forward, but it's like more validation and confirmation too. But the show for us really allows us a platform to express what you're thinking, Michelle, what I'm thinking, what we're feeling, and what we really want to do in this world and how we want to make a difference. And it really is the base for us. So that's why we really need to hear from you guys so that we can know what our base is doing.
Mm-hmm.
I love the base for our cards. I love cards so much. I think that's kind of neat, and I think it's my way of seeing into this, not only seeing the future, but clarifying my thoughts, what's going on, and my vision to clear from that fog that Nicholas said I was having.
It's interesting that with everything you've said, all of it, including the tiger's eye, all has to do with grounding. Literally everything, grounding and focus and clarity, all of it does. Everything you've said this show, basically.
Clarity. Well, it's supposed to be, because that's what the show's about. I love it. But grounding, I didn't have that word.
Grounding.
Really cool. And yeah. If anybody is in a fog, they sure do need some kind of grounding, an anchor of sort to somewhere, to something. I'm trying to think, do you have any experience that you want to share or stories about how hindsight or looking back over the things that has really influenced, like what you said about, not stressing so much or anything, but your kind of 2017 moving forward insights?
Insight. Well, I'm very excited about this year for sure. I think I need to focus more on things that I want to focus on. And I think that's true because just really make time instead of always putting things, because you only have, we think, and actually one of the greatest things that my mom does, it's insane. It's like we were driving to the airport yesterday and we wanted to go eat because my parents were here and it was absolutely magnificent and we had the best time ever. It was so much fun. And we wanted to go eat at Cantor's, this really awesome deli, this famous deli before, and it was 1:45. And there was a huge lineup, and they wanted to be at the airport at 3. And we're just like, okay, well, it's 45 minutes to the airport, but there's no way, the natural thinking. This really has nothing to do with this, but it does have to do with time and expanding time. So anyway, full point, we ended up having a wonderful meal, and then we ended up making it to the airport at 3. And I was like, Mom, you're like a wizard. This didn't even make sense. And she's like, oh, I expanded time. And she does that type of stuff all the time, but she really, really believes it. And the reason I'm saying that about hindsight and future is that I often don't make enough time to work on certain music projects or things that I really want to do. And I'll think that there's not enough time. But if you expand time, I think you can do it all. And because that was weird. Like we were in a big, long line. We were at a very busy place and we were able to eat our meal, not rushed at all. And we were able to drop my husband off at home, drive to the airport. Like it was crazy. It just logically didn't make sense. There actually wasn't that human time enough to do all that. And it totally worked out. And I thought about it and I'm like, she says that constantly. She's always like, expand time. And then I was like, you know what? We can apply that to everything. So however we're expanding time, and that's the biggest thing that I say I need, because I either am working way too much that I don't have any time, or I'm stressing way too much that I don't have time. And so I want to find, that's the biggest thing out of this year. And I mean, even when I look back at the hindsight 2020, maybe being old, getting older, not older, but you know what I mean? We're all getting older. I don't look back at situations being like, oh, I wish I didn't do that, or I wish I didn't do that, because it all makes me who I am. I wish I didn't stress. And that is the biggest thing that I would tell my younger self. And it's crazy because Oprah once said that too. I remember she was like, almost most people, when you survey, about I wish this didn't take older people will say that. Like, I just wish I could go back to my 20-year-old self and be like, you know what? Don't freak out about everything. It's going to work out however it's supposed to work out. And
that's actually
I think that would be my biggest. Well, it's because I think you can do so much greater when you get out of your own way. Like, I've heard this a lot. It keeps coming up, and this is it's a term that might not work for everybody, but it doesn't matter what you think, whatever your God may be, but I've heard it at least 5 times in the last week. But it's like opening up to what God's plan is. And then one person was like, I'm not a God person. I mean universe or higher power, just using that word. And because, it's just semantics anyway. And that I was like, you know what, opening up to the plan, your destiny, however you want to put it. But to me, and that like signs, signals, and clues, that was a clue, and it was a message I heard. If someone else might not even hear it, they'd be like, okay, whatever. But I heard it, and I've heard it 5 times in 1 week. And I was like, sometimes you just got to get out of your own way. Even if it looks like the sky is falling, it could really be everything opening up. You have no idea, and that's the biggest thing that I hope to carry throughout this year, and hopefully forever. It's not to say we don't get stressed out, but I want to stop being like, the sky's falling, and then the next day it's like, oh, it's sunny again,
I think it's a beautiful way to even kick off the next phase of your life, however that may be. And you're right, we do put such judgment on time of what we can fit into time, or there isn't enough time, or we may be scared of something, so that we actually say, we actually can say, you know what, I don't have enough time to do that. Whereas you very well could, or you really, it's funny because just even before the show, there'll be like 4 minutes, let's say, and the cats really want out, and I know they're just going to go out, sniff around, and come right back in. Like, literally, it would probably be a minute and a half. So as opposed to me saying, no, you can't go out, the show's going to start in 5 minutes, I was like, you know what, I know that they'll only be a minute and a half. So I told them they're happy to come in. Lucy's sitting sleeping on a rocking chair across from me now, all settled. But it's funny because this is your airport, and I'm so glad that you got to have lunch at that place, because when you travel somewhere, because your parents travel to you, you really look forward to those things, and makes me happy.
Yeah, it wasn't rushed. That's the crazy thing. Yeah, it's amazing. I know you do that with the cats a lot. Oh, but you know how you say Lucy's going to come home at 1 o'clock, and she does? That's amazing.
She does. I know. There you go. Expanded time.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM. Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive, dedicated community.
Every Tuesday on Living with Moxie, join Shefali Burns and Donna Martouge in conversations designed to take you to the next level, where we highlight ideas, resources, and strategies that provide you with the leverage you require to meet and exceed your business and personal goals. Each week on Living with Moxie, we will lead conversations related to success, achievement, fulfillment, and extraordinary, vibrant living. Are you ready to live with Moxie? Join us.
This is the sound of salmonella gyrating on your undercooked chicken. And it looks like Mom might be taking it out a little early. Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. So use a thermometer to cook each type of meat to the right temperature. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
Okay, I had to do this over the break because I thought it was exciting. I think I'm having a card day, like everything. Oh, I pull a card, and I went to look. So I simply put out the question. You brought really about grounding, how grounding. I was like, oh, that's so interesting. I would never thought about grounding with this whole site thing. And check this out. The last little paragraph. I'm so sorry. The card I pulled was rest and rejuvenation. That grounding was coming in. And I love how the last little paragraph here says, allow space, which is kind of like expanding time, by the way, just for your reflection, which is what we're talking about, is both needed and long overdue. Reposing and taking moments that's again time thing, for yourself will give you the opportunity to look at a problem or situation instead of being in it. It says it's a chance to stand back, view your life with clarity and renewed appreciation, hindsight here, and see where changes can be made to create a healthier and stronger foundation, enabling you to take the next step. So bravo, Michelle, on the grounding word. Woo!
Well, it was literally just listening to what you were saying. It came up in Tiger's Eye. It came up in multiple things you said. So that's actually kind of amazing. And then it's crazy that you picked up a card that actually had to do with hindsight as well.
I know. I love how this all connects and works. And I think that's a lot of things, maybe even what perhaps I was trying to even, without knowing, thinking, the hindsight isn't just about, this magic crystal ball we're looking forward to. It's really about, okay, wow, look at all that I spent time doing. What did I commit myself to? What were the things I worked on and not worked on? And take that moment to kind of just, first of all, celebrate, because we love to say that, and celebrate those successes and stuff, and then to accept where you are and what you did and say, that's what I did choose to work on. And there is a plan. There's a reason why those seeds were sown, why this work was done as opposed to that work, and then that rejuvenation to build up and kind of go, you know what, this is where I see my future going, where I would like my plan to my goal to be, and knowing that God or divine or universe has a plan and I fit in it perfectly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I think that all those surprise plans are kind of like, hey, that worked out great.
Yeah. That's how a lot of things, that's kind of, we're both actually oddly saying similar stuff. It's just like, you let go of what it's supposed to look like. I think, I'm 90% sure we've had a show on that, like letting go of the strangleholding and dreams, strangleholding. It doesn't even it's not always a dream. It's just about everything, because we can get so bogged down about regular life and bills and this and that and being a good everything. If you're a good wife, a good girlfriend, a good daughter, a good mother, like we get so brother, sister, whatever it is. Like, I think there's so much pressure on life to look a certain way, and I think that causes a lot of stress too. And that's why the whole hindsight and future forward, it's a very broad statement to be like, I'm not going to stress anymore. Like, of course, like, wouldn't we all want that? But at least to be much more conscious of when we are in the middle of the freakouts, whatever they may be, and because you just end up also, you're always living in your memory too, because whatever's going on right now, that's part of your memories. So if you want to make good memories, we have to have good nows. Yeah. And then we're not going to be constantly looking back and being like, why did I say that? Why did I do that? Because we are living in our memories every single moment. Actually, very great thing. I just thought about this. I had a reading with Erin, who was once our guest. Erin's Erin Lawson, amazing, just intuitive and tarot reader. And as we've had on the show. And anyway, she gave me a reading in the end of November, and it was crazy how accurate it was for December. Like, I have to actually call her and tell her that, because it was insane, like down to everything. But in one way too, I had a really pretty fantastic holiday with people. Like, the people aspect was so wonderful. It was so much fun. Incredible New Year's with friends, like really great time. And I think it's really good that, because there's been some stressful stuff too going on, to just kind of separate that and allow, because I could have easily ruined the holidays, which I'm 90% positive or 100% I've done when I was younger, for sure, or whatever it may be, getting all melodramatic about stuff. Yeah. And in one way, to sort of separate that and be like, I want to have good memories, made good experiences. And I kind of want to move forward like that, because really, and it was a wonderful, despite any other things, despite all the stressful stuff that was happening, it was a wonderful, wonderful holiday. And
it's kind of neat.
Probably one of the best I've had in years.
I actually think the same of mine. And I was going to say, with your tarot reading, it mentioned how important it was for you, yourself as an Aries, to have fun and to play with people and to enjoy those moments. And I'm so happy to hear that. Because you brought up about letting go of what you think it's supposed to look like. So like there's a certain look or an image, right? And it has to look a certain way and there's a judgment. I think the best story for me right now to share about this. I have my front room. There's a front room in my house. I call it the event room. I feel like I'm in it right now because there's an event going on, and it looks very different from the rest of the room because it's the room I would call the fancy room kind of thing, or that feeling for me of a special room. They're all special for different reasons. Well, it had a certain look. Well, one of the cats was not very good to a piece of furniture, and it had to be removed. And I was at first really upset. I was like, it's going to change the whole look. And I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't even bring myself to think, oh, I can't believe it's going to, like, what will I do? This is a horrible thing. I was really kind of, emotional about it. Not with the cats or anything, because cats are cats and they do what they do. But I thought, okay, so what can I do here? And it really I looked around the whole house, like, what other piece of furniture can I put there? And it's going to look different. And I was mourning, like literally mourning the how it looked and how it was going to change. And, this next piece of furniture is a whole different structure, whole different, like, one has negative space, the other one is big and fluffy. And, and it was really a matter of me being open and flexible and accepting that, what, maybe, here's another one of your mom's wonderful things, this or something better. Because maybe, now, I'll be very honest, the new piece of furniture, which is an antique rocking chair, went in, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not going to do, this is not the right feel, like, oh my goodness. But really what it was the wrong color. And so I put over a really cozy cream color blanket, which now matches, and then I loved it. And of course, Lucy's sleeping on it now, and it made me happy. So it's this thing is sometimes we do what you just said. What memories do, like, I didn't want to hate my event room. I loved my event room, but I didn't want to allow this one thing to ruin it and have me hate it. So now not only it is different. I have to get used to it. But now I create more memories because right now I'm looking over and Lucy's sleeping on it, and that makes me very happy. So the event room is once again, that acceptable memory-making, happy, joyful thing. So you never know where all these situations come up in your life. Let's get my cat stories in here. But no, I'm really glad about that. You brought up about events. And as you said, we can really either make it not good, like really destroy it, what you mentioned about being dramatic, something that's really meaningful in our lives, and now it's changed. And I think we need to acknowledge, that's my word, acknowledge that something's bothering us, but we have the power and we want to move forward and be that best self that we can to make it what we can. And you change other people around you when you do that too.
Absolutely. And then you have good experiences and they have good experiences and they're getting a better version of you. And, you don't have to make your stress everybody else's stress. And, it's important. And, people have went through it. And when you actually talk to, when you talk to some other people, if you choose to talk about what's going on, sometimes you realize you're not alone. Lots of people, some of the most successful people in the world have been through outrageously difficult times. And and I mean success in any way. It can be money, relationships, but, someone that has that or someone that appears to have it all could tell you a story and be like, that hasn't always been the case. And if they're human, it hasn't always been the case. No matter what spoons you're born into, whatever spoons are in your mouth, everybody has a story. And yes. There's a gift in everything too. If you're in a situation that you don't like, that may seem like it's happened before, there's a gift in that because you can change it, first of all, because we can totally change it. And, there is that kind of, they do contradict each other, but I think they go together at the same time, this choice and destiny. I feel like we're like a video game that we have. There is multiple ways for the game. Like you might take a shortcut to get to a closer area of the game. And it's funny because I'm not a gamer at all. I don't even know if I've ever played a video game, but there can be multiple endings. But there's always a clearer, easier path when we get out of our own way. And sometimes you have to go through some difficulty to get there. The biggest thing is strangleholding on what it's supposed to look like. For me, I can definitely say that because it's not to say don't have vision for your life. It's great to have vision. It's great to have vision, but it's just like that, what you just said, this or something better, because sometimes that something better is way better than you could even imagine. So like your higher self and all the powers that be are like, we can see this. They're looking at the crystal ball going, go left. And you're like, I'm going right just because. And they're like, but then they're like, okay, well, you're going to go right, but that's fine. You're going to go in the woods and find some things. This might happen. And then you'll reroute and maybe that was supposed to happen. But if we let go and really listen, maybe when they're going, go left, you're like, I'm going to go left. But when we're like, nope, I'm going to do this. Like, it's just, if we really act, one thing I love, again, oh my God, the Willie Carter is so famous, especially on this show, about how it says in partnership with spirit, because spirit, that's how, like with the signs, signals, and clues, that's how you're getting the message. Because some messages wouldn't mean anything to me that would mean so much to you. Like, I wouldn't even see it. And because it's not my message. And then when my message, it would be like, beep, beep, big red light, and it really means something to me. So, but you have to go in to see that, because when you're in a big fog, like, it's easy to be in a fog, especially when you're stressed out about something, or money's an issue, or relationship's an issue, all sorts of things. You're in that crisis at that moment, so it's hard to see outside of that. But when you go inside and realize we're a lot more than just our current situation, then that's when I think we can get the messages. But when we're so caught up in the drama of whatever is going on, it's really hard to see. You're not getting, the fog light through the fog. Like, the message is trying to come through, but it's all like, I can't see.
I love that you said,
that's why it's important to go in.
Highlighting that you said is you have your goal, and actually that was one of my messages from my card reading this morning was, you know what, have your goal, know your goal, but don't worry about that how. We always say don't worry about the how, all the stuff in between. He goes, but do the focus on the immediate details and the actions, just mind over matter. Keep moving forward, keep pushing ahead, and do the things that you can immediately do, and then to that goal. But you cannot worry about all the stuff in between, because you won't know when somebody's returned your phone call. You won't know when somebody's else, like all the other parts of your wagon wheel have pulled together. When that message will show, you just listen to it. What do I need to do today? And as you said, drop the worry. Yeah,
and you said it perfectly too. Like, you've dropped the worry. Well, you said it perfectly. It's because sometimes it is really heavy, and sometimes it's really, really hard. But if you just get up, brush your teeth, walk to go make coffee, whatever it is, take one step. And if your goal feels outrageously big, that whole, even though I don't like this because it's about eating an elephant, but my dad did say that the other day. He was just like, how, because even though nobody would ever eat an elephant, but like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time type thing. I don't like that one, but I just think I don't eat any animals. I know. But the idea is like the one step at a time, and you just have to. So actually, my dad used to say this when we went hiking, because it's really funny. He's totally like the what is it? The tortoise and the hare. I'll come back and tell a story about hiking, because it's actually
the hiking story with birds.
Oh, perfect.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Circle of Hearts Radio is a sanctuary on the airwaves. Join me, Grandmother Elia, in the circle on Sunday 2 p.m. Eastern as I share information to both enlighten and nourish your soul.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
I'm in my suspense story for your dad now. We don't usually get a lot of your dad's stories.
Oh, the hiking.
Oh, your dad's story.
Oh, well, no, it's just funny because my dad, like, we are totally the tortoise and the hare because I'm completely the hare. Like, yeah, let's run up the mountain. And my dad doesn't do anything really super fast, but he gets stuff done. And he was just, I remember I was like, how old was I? I was young, like I was I don't even know if I was a teenager, but we were hiking up this mountain, and my dad's not much of a hiker. Like, it's not like he hikes all the time, but the whole family was going, and he just very slowly and methodically went up the hill, and he never stopped, but he just kept going up the hill, and he passed, like, because I burned up the hill, like, for, you know, and then I was like, I'm so tired, I can't make it. And then he passed everybody, and he was just like, just take one step at a time. He's total Taurus. He's like, so he's very grounded. He's very much a Taurus. And he was the same with skiing. Like, we used to go skiing, and I loved snowboarding, but loathed skiing. I thought skiing was so hard. I was so scared. And he'd just be like, okay, we're just going to take one turn at a time, and then we get to the bottom of the hill, and he goes, look up, and he's like, you just came down that, and it would be totally scary, but he was so good at he's always been really great at the one step at a time. Just keep putting your foot ahead, and because I don't have, you know, I'm like, woo, let's do it now. And the idea of just methodically moving forward, and again, you know, we're all different, we all have different ways
safely,
but we can take things from other people, you know, like that's why we're with other people, is because, you know, you take other people's wisdom and try to apply it to your life.
I love that he had you stop to look back to see what you had accomplished. And I also love the other theme that I picked up in that is that when you do things slowly enough and methodically enough or planned, that you can actually, if there was something that was going to go wrong, you have time for a correction. And that, you know, sometimes when we get all crazy pants, we're like, oh, shoot. I did something wrong and I can't fix it. There's no way back. But that's really cool how it's such a balance between so many people. And I love that he came up of all the shows because you said he was grounding, and there's our grounding. So of course
I know. And then the other thing, you know, I didn't know I was going to say any of this stuff. This is clearly like an ode to my parents, this show, because they're the greatest people in the world. They're so cute. I can't even handle them. But my dad is very detail-oriented, and he's a lawyer, and you kind of have to be detail-oriented because, you know, you're reading all the time, and you have to find little things constantly. Anyway, I just realized now, thinking of hindsight, because one of my biggest issues in my life has been very rapidly getting into a situation, be it usually a lot of times in business too. It's been a lot of like signing a contract on the spot without reading it, you know, and then being like, oh, what have I done? I've made a terrible mistake. And but a lot of that was for not taking time, not taking enough time, or just jumping in. And a part of that's my nature, and part of that's great. I get a lot of things done that way. But at the same time, you know, having the balance of knowing maybe to slow down, look through stuff, take one step at a time, read the pages, you know. But again, we're also different, and I learned from that. I'm never going to do that again. As excited as I would be about some big contract, I'm going to read it and have lawyers read it this time.
There are certain things where the consequence, maybe the best thing to, and if I'm thinking of advice in my head about what that is when you go, what would the consequence be if I rush through this one? You're like, now, because look at you. You and I buy domain names like crazy. You're like, oh, that's a perfect business.
Oh, we have so many domain names.
Right, that consequence is okay to rush through. But had we, I don't know, invest $1 million in something tomorrow, then that would be like, oh, wait, did we think about that one? So I think when you think about what the consequences could be, is it something that you can go, you know what, I can rush into this, and let's go for it. Let's just use all my creativity and all my kinetic energy built up, and let's just go whoosh. And then there's sometimes where I go, okay, you know what? Because a lot of times I have this thing that I want to move all the time. And I used to move every 6 months for 10 years. And
oh
then
my God, that's stressful.
I remember, I know, and it was stressful to me actually. I remember when I made it to my first year at a place, and I was like, I started getting a little bit of anxiety. Like, what does this mean? I'm anchored. I'm trapped. I can't stay here. And then I thought, you know what? Let's plan this out. Okay, well then maybe you'll plan that in 3 months you'll move. So plan it. And then 3 months would happen. And I was like, well, there's no need really. And then and I'm approaching in March. Is it second? Third? Second.
Yeah, second.
Out here.
Second.
Yes. And I got past that, the 6 months, and I'm very aware of it. So there's things that, big things that I want to rush and do, but then I go, that consequence could be, that's a lot of money involved. And once if I rush into a place that I rushed into this place, thank God that I loved it. And it has its things. But before we do end, because I know we do have a few minutes, but I would love, Michelle, I would love to pull another card. But I was going to ask, do you have a question or something, a topic that I can, put into this lovely deck? I would like to share who I'm doing this deck by too, so that everybody knows. It's John Holland. So I'm doing the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck by John Holland. So that it's
well, I kind of just feel, I wish I don't necessarily have a question, but maybe just a card of the message for today. I don't know. I just love to hear. I really just want to hear what comes up. Just what comes up. Just whatever comes up. Okay. It seems like it will be the right message.
Because you said what comes up, I picked the top card actually after shuffling, and it's truth. Truth. I love it. I'm going to look it up. And it's a black card. You know that every time I've done a card for our show or after something, it's been actually those black ones, which are major things going on. I'm going to actually, because our other one too is, I know, how cool.
So did you say truth or truth? Like truth, like,
truth.
Coming to a truth?
No, speaking the truth.
Wait, truth. Oh, that's what I first heard. And then I heard a C and I thought it was truth. And I'm like, oh, okay. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, no.
What does it say?
Funny enough, actually, it says page 65. And funny enough, in my reading this morning, truth was really important. It says to me to be very, to reveal the truth. Okay, so here we go. The qualities of this card illustrate spiritual awakening, clarity, the revelation of truth and cosmic consciousness. At times, it takes a wake-up call to get your attention and show how far you need to go. That's like your dad making you look at things. This card comes forth to do just that. Evaluation of the past, come on, along with the lessons that you've learned or still need to understand must now be a top priority. Come on, this is so cool. Doing so will enable you to forgive, accept, and heal so that you can move forward in a balanced spiritual mindset. The truth card reminds you that a significant change must be made in a certain area of your life, but don't make any hasty decisions. I'm laughing. Take your time.
This is ridiculous.
So fun. Okay. For any choices or alterations must be weighed and evaluated with the most careful and wisest of judgments. Whatever steps you take now will have far-reaching consequences. Come on, more than you'll ever know. And finally, using the powers of the universe and blending them with a little help from the physical world will assist you in bringing about clarity and a shift of awareness. What was once not obvious will now be realized and understood. Be honest with yourself and trust what you know to be true. And the archetype is judgment. And I love you for asking, and I love that card.
That's ridiculous. And I just want all our listeners to know we don't talk before. I don't know. I didn't even know she was doing cards today. Like, we never know what's going on. And I really never know. I'm just like, guys, show up and talk about things. That's amazing. Oh, my God.
Amazing. I want to dissect that
How
later,
could that not be? That is so in line. That's so ridiculous.
I think it mentioned every keyword. It summed up the entire call, and maybe that's what we really wanted to even share with our listeners and for ourselves, that the truth makes you feel right. It makes you feel good. It's your own truth. It's my own truth. It's our own truth. All the people and maybe that's just, they can feel like, you know what, when you're truthful, it's honesty and you will be supported. Just as like, you can't, it's the known. Oh my goodness. You remember what that line is? Oh, if I have the truth, if I'm told the truth or hear the truth, then I can handle anything. It's when we are missing information or lied to.
And there's a very simple, the truth shall set you free too. Because it's the same as like if you're being cross-examined or, hopefully you never didn't do anything awful. But if you're telling the truth, even if you're accused wrongfully for something, the truth is, I don't even know where I'm getting this from, but the truth will set you free. I mean, I've always been a very honest person because if I lie, I'm caught instantly. I learned that very early on. So it's just not worth it. It's like instant karma. So I learned that when I was younger, and so I'm probably honest to a fault sometimes, but you know what? The truth shall set you free. Truth is always the best policy.
And the truth is the light, and I think we can see through any fog and have our hindsight and forward sight with the truth. And I just love that was the most perfect card for the end, and I think that's the perfect way to start this year. And as we move forward with the shows, I don't know, I kind of like doing the cards, so maybe, who knows, we'll have them pop up, or we can even have Aaron back or other people.
I love the cards.
Who do cards. Yes. Oh, this is fun. Okay.
I love cards. I do cards all the time. I use my magical unicorn cards and fairy cards. They're my favorite.
Oh. Who is the author of the unicorn ones?
The unicorn ones are Doreen Virtue. They're both Doreen Virtue. I have a lot of cards.
Okay.
These are just the ones I use all the time. I love my unicorn ones. Unicorns.
Love unicorns. So
magical. They are, and what's so great about these cards is that they're gold on the side, like old books.
Ooh.
I love that.
Oh, I love those little gold books, the golden books. Yes, I remember those when we were little.
Surrounded by light, the golden ray.
As we move forward for the 2017, we have, Michelle and I want to invite all listeners back and listen to the shows repeatedly as you need to for what the message is for you. But as we move forward, we have an amazing year lined up of between guests and different things that we want, and we're really going to highlight our sound again and Michelle's beautiful voice and singing, because she has so much to share. And as I heard it earlier, you said you want to get back things you love, which is music, and I'm so excited to have our listeners experience you more. And this was just such a fantastic show, and I thank you for sharing this show with moi in this hour of 2017. And
thank you everybody for listening, and thank you, Lisa. 432 shift.
Yay! 432 shift.
Yay! Bye, everybody. Thank you.